All right, mic check, good. So I'm Max Ceron, CWB Association Welding Podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding Podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association Podcast. My name is Max Ceron, and I'm with you guys for another great episode live here from the Fabtech 2022 floor, home of the co-location event of Fabtech and CanWeld 22, which is a fantastic so far. Everything's been great. And here I got Jordi Ribas. You are here from Josef?
Correct. Yeah, Josef Gases.
Yes,
Yep.
That's it. Just
Yep.
There's no fun. There's no weird
just
Josef or
you can if you want. It's the owners are Austrian, so
there probably is
Yeah.
some way of
Yeah.
saying it that's correct.
Yusuf or yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, appreciate that.
All right, Jordi. So tell me, who are you? Where do you live? Let's start with where you live.
Yeah, so I grew up in and around the city.
This city?
This city, yeah.
Like Toronto City?
Yeah, Toronto, just north of Toronto.
Okay, yeah.
And started my welding career pretty young at fairly young age.
Like high school young or?
Like younger. So my father used to be director of an engineering company where they would build and design stainless steel bakery equipment.
Oh, that's a fun gig.
So I used to go in there on the weekends with him if there was a lot of work, and I would walk around the shop with him and see the blue light, and I would be just gravitated to the blue light like flame. Exact, you got it. So he told me, no, don't look at that. And I said, why not? Why can't I look at that?
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of sparked my interest. So something that I can't look at, but I can see with the welding lens that lets me kind of see something that you can't see with the naked eye.
Yeah.
That really triggered something in me. And I was always kind of just gravitating towards that kind of stuff. I always liked working with my hands. So I grew up doing stuff, fixing, repairing stuff. Mainly tearing stuff down and not being able to put it back together and then chucking it out.
So not an engineer.
No. Moving forward, I went to engineering school, dropped out after the first semester.
So let's slow down.
Yeah.
You were in, so you already knew about welding as a kid.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you're aware of it. It was cool.
Yeah. 100%.
It was like a thing.
Yeah.
You went to high school. Did you go to a high school that had a welding program?
We did a small little brazing just on 2 pieces of sheet metal in auto class.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
So that's kind of the only exposure you had in high school.
In high school, yeah.
Were you still kind of toying with and tinkering with welding on your own?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not in high school?
Yeah. Yeah. So when my father was working as the director there, I would go in and help out with welding procedures and stuff like that, just doing knickknacks, little welds here and there, learning the trade, and then kind of slowly progressed into my own kind of want of what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I just...
So it sounds like you knew what you wanted.
Yeah. I just didn't do it. So I went to engineering school.
So what happened there? You're like, I want chocolate. I want chocolate. Can I have a pineapple? Like what happened?
Yeah, I dropped out of university. I went to school for engineering, dropped out, had to do something. So then I started doing concurrently with my education at a local college, engineering, and also working for a company, welding. And that's kind of where I started picking up my welding skills, working for them. Slowly, just, people started asking me questions because I was very book heavy. I would read every book that I could grab my hands on. There was one called Welding Applications by Larry Jelfus.
Yeah, that's a very standard textbook. Yeah, it's a great book. Yeah.
So that was like my Bible for the longest time. I had that always kind of just at hand. And then the Lincoln has some really good books as well.
They've had many versions of good books over the years. Yeah.
So just dove right into that stuff. Read cover to cover, front and back.
So as you're learning this welding, you're like taking it on your own time, reading about it. You're at a welding shop, but you're still going to school for engineering. Like this is still where you want to go with your overall career.
100%. So I just knew that, welding kind of like just gravitated towards me. It was almost a meditative kind of, I don't want to say religious experience, but definitely something spiritual in a way. When you get zoned out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you feel it.
Yeah.
And you just want to be kind of a part of it. So I knew that was kind of where I wanted to be. I like getting, stacks of drawings and then making something and then stepping back and saying, I made that. That wasn't there today.
Yeah.
It's here now.
So you're looking at this in terms of like a full skill package. Like I can design, I can draw, I can model, and then I can order, cut, produce, weld, finish, like
run a team.
Yeah, this is kind of how your skill set's developing.
Yeah.
Now, while this time, what type of welding work are you doing while you're going to sort of building this path?
Yeah, so mainly when I was kind of younger, I was doing a lot of stainless steel TIG work. When you were working with bakery equipment, stuff like that, you get into a lot of the sanitary stuff. Then after that, got into architectural metal work.
Okay.
So high-end stuff that you would see at
spiral staircases, banisters, stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of like more kind of exotic stuff, a lot of silicon bronze, a lot of copper to copper, copper to brass, copper to steel, everything, all that mix.
It's amazing in my life where the technology for consumables has gone with the silicon bronze, copper, brass world. When I was young, welding copper or any silicone bronze process was terrible.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Yeah.
You had to preheat to like 1,300 degrees.
Yeah.
And then you'd blast it in at 500 amps, and then it would still not dilute properly. And now with the advance in the metals and the alloys, you can like just grab a TIG and just run a bead and it sticks.
So like we were doing, I was working for a company where we were doing the Ritz-Carlton in Toronto, and they designed the bar booth, and it had a lot of contours, and it was made out of 1/8 sheet metal pewter.
Okay.
Very, very expensive.
Yeah. And brittle and makes gnarly stretch marks if you don't do it right.
Right. And and then the idea was that this pewter would get nice and weathered and damaged and beaten on, and it would have this kind of
patina to it.
Exactly. And we developed kind of like an interesting technique, another gentleman and I, a welder that I was working with, where we would actually TIG weld 95% silver at 8 amps. So imagine 1/8 material.
Bubble on, basically. Yeah.
It was, and watching that just pull in nicely.
Yeah. That would even hit the low spots. It would give it that depth, right?
Oh, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And then you could just grind it off, and it would be perfect. And it, you don't have any of that highlighting where it's mismatching the material.
Yeah.
So that was very fascinating,
and that's very niche, niche experience, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think my one TIG machine can go below 10. I know my one can down to 5, but not all machines can go down that low, right?
That's the good test on a good machine, right? The 1-2 amps and the arc start on that. If you need 8 amps and your arc starting is only at 5, it's going to give you that burst. So to get a good machine that starts at 1 amp, you're
paying more.
Yeah,
you're paying more for that.
Yeah.
So then, so now let's follow the timeline.
Yeah.
So you are going through your welding process. You're getting better at welding. You're doing cooler stuff. Sounds like you found yourself in a pretty interesting shop, right?
Yeah.
What came first, the Red Seal or the engineering degree, or did you ever finish engineering?
So I dropped out of university and then started doing the college at Centennial College. So I completed the 2-year design program at Centennial College. And I was also concurrently working at this company.
Okay. So now you got your certificate of design.
Yeah, design engineering. Yeah,
design engineering.
That's right.
And now you're still welding. So are you apprenticed? Are you logging your hours? Are you thinking about challenging for your Red Seal?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. So I ended up challenging with my hours and based on my resume and a portfolio that I had to develop and then write the exam. I challenged it through the non-typical apprenticeship way.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Yeah.
I challenged my Red Seal because I had been working at it for already like 12 years and I didn't think I needed it. Like I was getting paid well. I was happy with my career. But then I applied for a supervisor job and didn't get it. And I went and talked to the boss. I'm like, why did I not get that job? Like, it's mine.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, our company hierarchy says that you have to have a Red Seal to be in a supervisory position. I was like,
right.
Well, why'd you tell me?
Yeah,
I'll go challenge now. I set it up. And actually, it was a lot harder than I thought. But
I mean, if you pass
it
that,
ain't a joke.
it's no joke. Yeah. You need to know a little bit about a lot.
A lot of things, yeah.
So I was just working to gather my hours. I went to work for a structural company that did a lot of non-union wastewater treatment structural stuff.
Yeah.
So and then that's when I challenged my exam when I was with them.
And you get on your first try?
Yep.
What'd you get?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't just pass. I can't remember my score.
80s or something.
No,
yeah.
like I might have got 92.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, something
good.
like that. Yeah.
See, on my welding red seal, I got like a 96, and I was bragging up a storm
Yeah.
because I thought I was so smart.
Yeah.
Then when I wrote my steel fab, my metal
Yeah.
fabricator red seal, I got like a 71, and then I was like, oh, 70 is good enough. Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
suddenly it's not important anymore.
Yeah. You got it. Yeah. A pass is a pass. I don't know. Maybe they asked me those same questions again 2 weeks later, and I would have got a different grade. I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows how that is? But
Yeah.
how do you feel about being a red seal? Is it important to you? Was it important to you?
Yeah. I think it helped me get a couple jobs, that I probably wouldn't have got.
Mm-hmm.
So I did also teach at George Brown for a little bit as well. So I was doing a concurrent education on the weekends while still working my 50 hours on the other jobs.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big part of why I got that teaching gig as well.
And how'd you like teaching?
I did. I enjoyed it to the fullest. I think that's where it's at.
Yeah, I love teaching too.
Yeah, if you're not perpetuating that whole trade aspect where we're trading knowledge, you're not really in the trades. That's my kind of opinion.
Yeah.
You can learn from a book, you can learn however you want, but to get it from the horse's mouth or the welder's mouth, or that exchange that we have between welders and non-welders, or welder to welder.
Yeah, a mentor to peer, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we should be looking at.
Yeah, like I would definitely still be teaching if I wasn't offered this job. Because like I was loving teaching, and I figured I'd be like, this is it.
Yeah.
Great hours, summers off, good pay. It was kind of like, damn, I want to be here forever. But But then they're like, hey, you can come, mess around at the CWB. It's like, that sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So now you got your red seal.
Yeah.
You got your design engineering certificate. You're probably thinking, where am I going to go with this? What's the move? Because now you're getting pretty certified, right?
Yeah.
So what was the career path for you then?
Yeah, so then I had to pick up a bunch of tickets for other stuff. So all position stick for CWB, MIG, flux core, and
the structural welding tickets. Yeah,
structural welding tickets. So I was progressing through all that, and then TSSA as well for 6G pipe, TIG, fill and cap and all that.
Fill out,
yeah. And then progressed with my certificates, and then the next step was I finally got hired with Josef Gases.
Okay, so there's a jump there.
Yeah.
Right? There's a jump. So you're like getting ticketed. You got your pipe tickets now. You're like, and I find that people always make a neat or interesting transition when they get to pipe status.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to get a pipe ticket.
Yeah.
They don't realize how competitive the pipe market is.
Yeah.
And it's really tough. Like having a pipe ticket doesn't mean that you're going to, like in many ways, you may make less money than a structural welder because there's less work. So the good ones, they got the good work.
Exactly.
Right. So it's a tricky game. I did pipe for 2 years, and I just didn't like the sporadicness.
Right.
But that was geographic. Where I am, there's just not that much work, and I didn't want to travel to do it, right?
Yeah. So they might keep you on for a little bit and then lay you off, and then you add up all your hours that you worked, and then all your pay, and then you're like, well, I only made X amount this year. I might as well just have a full-time job.
Yeah, I can just have a cushy full-time job. Yeah.
So, there's something to say about that, right?
Yeah. Now with this, you got your tickets. Did you try to go chase some big bank first, or did you try do some shutdowns or any of that stuff?
No. I work for a company that believed just maintaining the crew. Just unfortunately, they went through a restructuring, and what they ended up doing was kind of closing down that metal fabrication or that metal division.
Too bad. Yeah.
And so then I kind of went to another company for about 2.5 years, doing structural work, and then that's when I kind of progressed to Josef today.
Okay, so then. What made you think of applying at Josef? So why did you not just keep going welding?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of the last two places that I was at, they kind of were a little bit stagnant in the technology that they were using. I wasn't kind of progressing where I wanted to be. I was looking for kind of just to keep upping my knowledge, my products knowledge, my welding knowledge. So I started thinking, what would be the best way to actually do that? And I said, well, why not try and look for an actual gas distributor I will see all different types of facets of the industry, between manual welding, stick welding, to robotic. I would see everything. And I would force myself to learn stuff just based on what the customers were needing to get out. So I knew that going into it, that I would have to go into fifth gear on my learning, comparative to what I would have to do if I stuck at my current company that, they were using technology essentially from the 80s or mid 90s. No zero CNC on the press brakes, or very minimal.
Those old CNC pendants that you might as well have just had it manual.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, well, let me think about this for a bit, and then this job kind of presented itself, and I took the leap. And I knew that, if it didn't work out, I could go back in. Luckily, the company is amazing, and the people are just awesome. So there's. Yeah.
So how long have you worked at Josef?
Coming up almost 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
And what's the footprint for this company? Because I'm out west.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know much about this company.
No, absolutely. So it's a smaller company. We're an independent company, and we have kind of like a radius that we distribute it to. The furthest that we would go on a dedicated truck would probably be Windsor.
Yeah.
But mainly we stick to about like an 80 to 100 kilometer radius.
And are you full service gas, like any gas mix? Do you guys do your own mixing? Do you guys 100%. Do your own everything?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What about acetylene? Do you guys do your own bottle service? Because I heard most acetylene comes from the U.S.
That's
now.
Correct. Yeah. So no one in Ontario is allowed to fill acetylene. So everything had come from out of Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as you can do, you can control everything you can.
Yeah. Yeah. So we basically take it from the beginning. If a company needs to purchase new machines, we can handle that. Get set up for gas supply, we do that. We're all the big companies, Lincoln, ESAB, Miller, Fronius, we support all those companies. So
do you guys also do like manifold setups, builds, Correct. Tanks, everything?
Yeah, 100% liquid, whatever the customer needs.
Okay, so that's a big spread for a small company.
100%. Yeah, and we do it quite well. We're kind of all over the place. We're the largest independent in most likely in Ontario.
So how many staff do you have as a company then?
It's 40 people. Yeah.
So with 40 people, this amazing access to the product that you can produce, get out to your local area.
Yeah.
Why did you guys get into like the whole, like, I see that you're signing the Welders Superstore. So like you want to be full service, like get into like the Air Liquide game or the Lindy game or, so is that kind of like where you're going, like full service top to bottom?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's exactly it. So anything a welder would need, down from the head down to the toes.
So PPE, everything?
PPE, except for safety boots, let's say. That's probably the only thing we won't support. But anything that you need between welding gases, cutting gases, anything like that, construction propane, barbecue propane, we have full support on all that. And consumables, wire, drums, anything. One-stop shop. Yeah.
Now, you got a red seal and you're in a sales position, right? In the company with the 40 people that work there, or 39 not including you, right?
Or 41 maybe.
Or 41, whatever it is, what are the other people's skills? Is there lots of red seal welders there? Is this like a thing the company kind of advocates for or seeks, is like skilled tradespeople to get into sales, or
Yeah, definitely. So we do have some I'm not sure if they're actually red seal, but they have certifications. So we do have some people that have the CWB weld test plates, so they're all position stick. We do have a gas tech also, so a TSSA certified gas tech. And in terms of red seal, I believe I might be the only one, but definitely the mindset and moving forward would be always to get people that are technical in that area of trade, right? So
what's your speciality? What's the thing that makes you special?
I just like learning new stuff, really. I think I like to be a sponge. If someone's speaking technical, I'll shut up and listen, and I'll try and absorb that. So that's kind of where I start off. In terms of what I like to gravitate to, if you mean by like process and stuff like that.
Or even knowledge base, like if you're more of a metallurgy guy or or whatever, like.
Yeah. I dabble in that stuff for sure. Yeah,
a little dabbling.
You have to, right? So
yeah, if you want to get good, you have to.
Yeah. So especially we deal with everybody, right? So all the customers that could be abroad, we deal with structural people down to people that do exotic stuff as well, right? So you kind of have to pick up and be a little bit knowledgeable, or at least know how to get that knowledge. If you don't have that knowledge in the back of your head, you need to know where to look. So and provide our customers with accurate answers. I like to do a lot of TIG work personally. I like the precision aspect of TIG. Not to say that I don't love stick and MIG. I feel that MIG is actually the hardest process.
So as an instructor for many years, MIG's the ones that gets failed the most.
80 or 85% of all CWB are fails out of MIG.
It's like if it sounds too good to be true. It is.
Yeah, you get that attitude where I've been welding for 10 years. Don't tell me how to do that. And then where do they fail? On their start, stop, lack of fusion.
And everyone's scared of the vertical of everything. And the vertical is the one that passes the most.
Right.
It's like, guys. Yeah. Vertical, gravity's on your side. Just lay it in there. No one cares.
Yeah, keep giving it. Yeah. Don't stop.
Don't stop.
Don't stop. Yeah.
Now, with your welding, background, how much do you feel that helps you as a salesperson?
Quite a lot, actually. Yeah. I mean, you can't BS a welder in the shop. Pretend that you're a welder.
We talked about it in an earlier show. It's like we can smell fear.
Oh, you're a welder. Okay, well, can you talk the talk? Can you walk the walk, quote unquote, right? So, yeah, you can't BS a welder.
Now, do you kind of recommend that to other, or like, are you a little bit of a mentor, with other people in your company, being like, well, I'm a red seal welder. I know quite a bit of stuff. If you guys need help, ask me a question. You know.
I think that our environment, it breeds at Josef is kind of everybody absorbs information from everybody.
Awesome.
It's, if someone's down, we'll bring them up, or if someone's up, we'll bring them even higher in terms of knowledge, right? So it's definitely a community thing where we like to breed. We like to say the F is for family. So, so we see it as kind of like a tight-knit group.
Yeah.
And, I work a lot with the sales team in conjunction, making sure that the sales are providing with the right products and procedures, welding, wire, etc. So they lean on me, I lean on them. So it's good like that.
And do you guys have a large warehouse in Ontario? Do you guys house everything there locally?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a big facility in Concord.
Website and everything?
Oh, yeah, josefgases.com, yeah.
Yeah, can you order off the website, or is it a phone call service only? Or
So as of right now, it's just phone calling in with account, or you can come into the shop and grab what you want. Yeah.
Okay, now let's switch the gears towards what's happening right now. You're working for Josef for 5 years, you said.
Almost 5 years.
Yeah, you're loving it. Sounds like you got nothing but praise for the company.
Yeah.
You guys are at Fabtech. Did you do trade shows before the pandemic?
Absolutely. So we did actually the
2018 one, yeah.
Yeah, that went really well. We were scheduled to do the 2020, got canceled. We recently did the heavy equipment show April.
Okay.
April.
How'd it go?
Very well.
Good.
Very well. That was a very nice kind of intimate one, but we have a lot of customers in the construction area.
Yeah.
So it was quite nice.
Yeah, I went to a small conference. Sometimes you're always like, if it's not a huge conference, it's not worth it. You know?
Yeah.
And I went to a small marine conference because I'm trying to learn more about the marine industry.
Okay.
I'm from Saskatchewan, so I'm trying to understand that animal because I want to work with that animal more, from the company standpoint. And I don't want to just come in and talk bullshit. I want to get a little bit of understanding. And this little marine conference was awesome, man. There's really smart people, a whole new industry that I don't know anything about. And it was nothing but just learn, just a whole nother world. It's like someone starts talking about mining. It's like, okay, that was my jam. I know lots about mining. I can talk that talk, or manufacturing, which is also something that I love to do, running manufacturing facilities. But mining or marine, I have a boat and I don't even know, I know how to drive it.
Yeah.
I know the engine parts. But
aluminum hull?
No, it's a fiberglass boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a fiberglass boat. 16 and a half foot, 115 horsepower Suzuki motor.
It goes then.
Yeah, she rips pretty good.
Oh.
It's a speed boat, but I say it's my fishing boat because I made an aluminum trolling attachment that I designed up and got one of my buddies to make at his shop, and it just snaps right on, and you can put a trolling motor on to go fishing. So it's like a speed boat in the shallow water.
Just go. Yeah.
But whatever. can't stop a welder.
Yeah.
We'll do whatever we want.
Yeah, there's some great bolt builders too. It's like just it's fascinating.
Well,
you know.
Stephanie Hoffman is a boat builder, right? That's a big chunk of her career is building boats. I keep bugging her about it because she's a pipe welder and a boat builder, and it's like those are the two things I've never done.
Yeah,
like it's like what the. I've never got into pipe welding as a full-time gig, and I've never built a boat. So
it's on my list. Build a boat, yeah, for sure.
You want to do an aluminum one right from the beginning? Form the hull. I've seen lots of videos about it. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, there was one guy that I was following for like almost 9 years on YouTube. I don't know if you're familiar with SV Seeker.
No, I don't.
He started. I think he's got like a 70-foot kind of research vessel that he built from scratch in his backyard in like North Carolina or something.
That's crazy.
And he finally got it in the water after like 9 or 10 years.
And how do you know it's even going to float? Like, you must have bought blueprints off of something, or
I'm not sure. I think he
just designed it himself too.
Yeah, on the fly, really. But just I
would be so scared of like putting it in the water, it's like bloop,
bloop turns over upside down.
Yeah, like just completely weighted wrong, or sits like like a
you'd have to
car.
go down with the ship, right?
Yeah,
you just have to, right? Salute,
just for shame.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, I did that.
I'll see you guys later. See you on the other side. Yeah.
Now, then what's your company, or what's the company, Josef? What's their mission when they come to a trade show? Everyone's got a different angle, whether it's sales or just networking or exposure. What is it that you guys talk about before you hit up a trade show as to like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, so we definitely talk about those things that you just said, like networking and sales. We want to expand just our brand, make sure that people know that if they're struggling with their current supplier, or they have any issues, or they're just starting out. We get a lot of requests. I'm starting a welding business. I have a big contract that I'm getting right now. Where do I start? What do I get? How do I do this? Do I buy this machine or do I buy that machine? So a lot of people are looking for guidance, and we can help with that. And we do it quite well. So that's something that we can use our expertise, and that's stuff that we kind of talk about, before coming here. We want new leads, essentially. And we're all about the new business.
And are you the kind of company that you can like sell right off the floor here? Like if someone's like, hey, I dig this, you just be like, bing, 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 okay, it's going to happen.
Yeah, we could probably get that done. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
And I guess it depends how much money they got to buy.
Yeah. Cash still goes a long way, right?
Yeah.
Or we take Bitcoin. No.
Yeah, well, I do.
Yeah.
When did you guys get here?
So they started installing, I believe, on Friday. They might have got in. Yeah, Friday. And then finished up on Monday.
Good.
So I came on Monday.
Yeah, I came Sunday night. There was already lots moving in. Yeah. Now, what did you guys come to any of the parties yesterday? Do any of the other stuff?
No, unfortunately, I was unavailable yesterday. Today, I don't know if anything's happening today.
There's a gala for the CanWeld side, big supper, fancy supper thing.
Okay.
So I don't know if you registered for CanWeld at the same time when you registered for Fabtech.
No.
It was another checkbox. You still can.
I might have. I don't know, actually.
Check.
I usually check those check boxes anyway.
Yeah, you check them all.
Why
Yeah.
not?
So if you did,
Yeah.
there's a big fancy supper tonight with like a really good meal. So
okay.
If you like really good meals.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't, right? Yeah.
Okay, so now let's see. We talked about your path as a welder coming into this, right? Now you make the jump over to Josef, and you're working in sales. Sounds like you're loving it, and it's a new adventure for you. Do you still got the itch to weld? Do you still are like, I want to go do something, or do you you got a side hustle?
So yeah, no real current side hustle. I haven't really done any side welding for quite some time, but we do have a training lab, which I kind of run upstairs at Josef Gases.
So you got lots of stuff to play with?
Yeah. So that takes care of the itch, and I'll do site lessons as well, or teaching, and then we'll also have people come into at Josef to do some practicing.
Yeah, and demoing or whatever.
Right, or if a customer is not sure what wire or gas combination to use, we can kind of fine tune that. Sometimes we get customers coming in with products, their actual manufactured things.
How do we do this?
Yeah. They'll pick up some guidance through us that way. So we'll bring it up to the lab and we'll weld it out, and we'll recommend a little bit of a procedure and just say, hey, do this, do that, pick this gas, without getting too complicated. And just to go like that.
Are you guys involved with any like community programs or associations or outreach stuff like that? Do you guys do any community investment work?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
you might not know. It's kind of
I'm sure we do. The owners are quite nice in that regard. So they definitely do some stuff with the organizations. support some baseball teams.
Nice.
Off the top, what else can I? Yeah.
Well, I'm just asking because it's totally like selfish because,
Yeah.
you know, we have a fantastic Ontario chapters
Yes.
that are always looking for, you know, industry partners to align with
Right.
to do stuff for their chapter meetings and help with the networking and
Okay.
bringing new customers.
Yeah.
And almost every chapter in Canada has a sales representative because it's just a lead machine, right? It's
Yeah.
just basically a lead machine for sales.
Yeah.
And the flip side of it is now the chapter has someone who works at a supplier who can then broker them better deals for the stuff they're trying to do.
Right.
So it's a very good two-way street. And, you know, in my life, some of the best salespersons that I've worked with were red seal welders that got into sales. And that's actually becoming like more and more common as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
And at first when I was young, I was like, why would you leave welding to go to sales? But that's the welder in me talking to me like, I love to weld, right?
Me too. Yeah,
But then, but now I get it. Like I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, well, it's just a different angle. It's the same game,
Yeah.
but you're just a different player in the game, right?
100%. I agree. It was a little bit of a, am I doing the right move in the beginning? You know, how will I fill that itch?
Yeah.
One thing that was kind of hard for me in a way was, you know, getting that stack of drawings and say, go, you know, make a cut list, or if you're given a cut list, give it to your team and just have them come back.
Now
with
sales is way different animal.
Yeah.
It's like a moving target all the time.
But it makes up for, like, I'm learning so much that I'm sponging everything in, and no one can take that away from you, right? So
like I suck at sales. Okay, I'm good at talking. I'm decent at like the hustle blab, right? But I don't feel like I would be good at sales. Like I don't know. I've never thought it'd be a skill for me. How did you know you'd be good at it?
I didn't really necessarily know that I would be good at it, but I knew that I wouldn't BS the customer.
Yeah,
That
okay,
if,
that's
if
fair.
I said, hey, listen, I think you should buy this, you know, because of this. Not like you need this and it'll do whatever, you know, like you can't do that.
Not that one.
No, yeah. So having that kind of mentality, I think, is kind of critical.
Yeah.
In terms of being just honest and making sure that the customer you know, you don't want the customer to be happy the next day. You want them to be happy throughout their whole time, that they have that commitment either to us as a gas supplier or that welding machine or even that consumable. They could come back to you 5 years later. Hey, why'd you sell me this
Garbage.
other consumable
Yeah.
when I needed X consumable? And now this project comes back and they got to do who knows what to fix it. So that's
And do you feel a level of responsibility if something like that happens?
Oh, yeah. For sure. Yeah. We take our job pretty seriously. We know what we're dealing with. I mean, we work with companies that are building bridges. We work with companies that are pressure vessels.
It's important. Yeah.
Like, there's some serious consequences. I mean, it's not like, I mean, I sleep at night. Don't get me wrong, but it's still something.
718, the one looked cracked.
Is that a -1? I don't know. Yeah. So, you know, there's consequences, right? So, I mean, we're out there building buildings, right? So we're out there building bridges. We're out there building kettles, whatever, you know, stuff that if it goes sideways.
Kettles, that's a lot of welding.
Yeah, if it goes sideways.
Yeah. I remember the first time I welded one, I'm like, how many inches is that?
Yeah.
Like, they're like 8 inches thick, some parts.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weld.
Yeah.
Back then, it's like we're just running like 1/4-inch 718 rods. Like, you don't see that anymore.
Yeah, well, I saw that video from Weld.com. They were doing that 3/4 inch.
A big
electrode.
1,000 amps, I think it was. Yeah.
Two machines.
Yeah.
Seared up together. Yeah.
Are you on social media? Do you follow that stuff? Do you play the social media game?
Yeah, we're on social media. It's
you personally though?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I have an account, Savr Metalworks, SAVR Metalworks.
Okay.
And then the Josef Gases, the Welder Superstore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And you said you were on Becker's interview, like on podcasts.
I was on the one before with Jimmy McKnight.
All right. And what was that one about?
Again, more talking about just me and how I got into a position with Joseph. Yeah, just kind of.
So how did he find you? Like, how would he know about Joseph?
Yes, I actually met him at Fabtech 2018.
Oh, look at
and
this,
he was
man.
at our booth, yeah. And he says, "Hey, man, I'm running a podcast. You wanna come in one day?" And,
So this is actually your game now. You're like 2 for 2 now.
yeah. So the next one, who's next, right? Yeah.
Well, we're gonna be in Atlanta, so I don't know. You coming to Atlanta?
No plans
Fabtech?
yet, but we'll see. Yeah.
Well, next year at CanWeld 2022, or no, it's every 2 years in Canada.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna have to hook you up, and we'll see where you are in 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the time and letting me speak a little bit. Yeah.
So what's your future plans? You know, I think the boss might be watching, so I don't know if we want to talk too much about it. But
no, it's good. It's going well at Joe. Yeah. I love it there. So yeah.
But what do you see like 5 years? Maybe 20 years. Do you see yourself in a sales position? Do you see yourself moving into like management? Do you see yourself, like, what's your favorite aspects of the job that you kind of key in on?
I really like the welding side of things. So that's kind of where I focus on. I spend most of my time on welding, making sure the customer has the right tools to do their work.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of my progress there, time will tell, I guess. So we'll see where that takes me. I love my position where I'm at right now.
Good.
So they treat me very nicely there. So I have 0.000 complaints.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
And if your boss was listening, I would totally ask him to support the CWB Association.
Yeah.
We'll make some type of partnership if he was listening.
We do definitely support. So we have our own branded CWB wire. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we do contribute. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
but to the chapters, not those guys over there. Those guys over there, don't worry about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. So, to wrap this up, our podcast, we always ask, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to someone? You're a red seal welder that decided you wanted to try something else and go into, the sales world, which is becoming more and more common of a theme. I've had a number of guests now kind of along those same paths. Let's open this up. If you're looking at someone that's thinking about coming into the welding trades, how would you try to explain to them the range of work that's available in the steel trades, even as a welder?
I mean, that's endless, really.
Mm-hmm.
Look at anything that's metal, it's probably welded. Starting out, I would probably just say, go get a machine, whatever you can afford. Make sure you can afford some test plates or some metal, filler material, have at it. One thing is that you can't get worse by practicing.
Yeah.
So as long as they just keep practicing.
Unless it's marriages or something weird like that. But
yeah. Hopefully you're practicing every day, every second. So yeah.
No, that's good advice. And then that is true. A lot of young people, when they look at welding and they get it's magazines, it's social media, it's TV. All you see is like the $30,000 machines, the $40,000 machines, or $10,000 even. And it's like, wow, these awesome, cool machines. And that can be kind of overwhelming for a young person that wants to I just want to learn to weld.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of smack talk, and I don't play this game, but there is a lot of smack talk to and I get it, to the low end knockoff machines.
Yeah.
I get it. No one's going to promote the $200 Alibaba machine, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not good for business. But I'm not going to tell anyone not to buy something if that's all they can afford.
No.
If you only got $200 and you can get your hands on a welding machine and it lets you plug in and you can burn some rod even just to see what it's like, go for it.
You can do a lot with an Alibaba $200 machine and a Honda Civic.
Yeah. I've been running a $200 Alibaba machine that I bought as a joke, being like, what is this garbage? 3 years now.
Yeah.
And I've pushed that thing hard. My farmer friends use a plug-in lighter in their car, and then they can do fence posts on the farm.
Yeah.
Right? Like they can just load it on the back of the tractor.
Exactly.
And it's got a duty cycle of 8.
I guess it all depends on how much money you have. If you have $1,000, don't go buy a $1,000 machine. You, like I was saying before, you smart. You need money to have test material.
And rods are not cheap.
Right. So if you can buy a $200 machine, buy a $200 machine, and then spend $800 in the other
rods
stuff,
and plate,
right?
and then give her. Yeah.
So
then you can start making those things that everybody with a welding machine makes and tries to sell to their friends.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to buy a fire pit?
And if you want to spend $20K on a machine, we got you covered too. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, man. It's been a great interview. Hope you had fun.
I did, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it got nice and toasty and everything, so it was nice and warm,
Yeah, it's nice and warm. The lights are on, yeah. Now, give a shout out. You got shout outs for anybody? You want anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, Josef Gases, the Welder Superstore on Instagram, josefgases.com on the websites. That's our shout outs.
All right, cool. Well, thanks to all the listeners that have been tuning in.
Yeah, appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks to Jordi for coming on the show. It's been great. And, we'll keep the Fabtech train rolling. I think we got another 1 or 2 podcasts lined up. And we're getting through there, guys, for everyone that knows how these conferences are. Yeah. Day 2 is just about wrapping up here. And then we only got one more night of partying. And then tomorrow's day 3. And we'll see how we'll do. And so thanks a lot for our listeners. And thanks to you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
The CWB Association would love to thank all the sponsors that helped make CanWeld 2022 a great success. We'd like to specially thank ErgoMig for being one of our main sponsors and participating with us at this year's conference in Toronto.
We hope you enjoyed the show.